Hi, my name is Erika Juliana Rodriguez, and my topic is on embryonic stem cell research. Now, some of you may be wondering what a stem cell is exactly. To simplify, a stem cell is an unspecialized cell that can create any tissue or organ in the body. According to the National Institute of Health, in many tissues, these serve as a sort of internal repair system, dividing essentially without limit to replenish other cells as long as the person or animal is still alive. So in other words, the cells are able to tear themselves apart and replenish other parts of the body, then come together once more. Stem cell research has been in practice only since 1981, and in these past 37 years, scientists have been successful in not only organ and tissue growth, but cloning as well. On July 5th, 1996, the first clone was produced, and in the case of Dolly the sheep, scientists were successfully able to clone an animal from an adult somatic cell through the process of nuclear transfer. And another breakthrough with stem cells was in the medical field when Massachusetts General Hospital worked in collaboration with Harvard Medical School and created the first artificial beating heart. And if we can clone and grow organs and tissues, what else are we researching? What research are we conducting with these stem cells? Well, scientists want to use embryonic stem cells, and an egg is fertilized by sperm. This creates an embryo that would in turn become a fetus, and this fetus would turn into a baby. Now, what is being proposed is the removal of an embryo and dissecting it for its stem cells to research. But why? Why would we want to terminate these embryos for stem cell research? What could we possibly learn that we don't already know? Well, when working with adult stem cell research, when working with adult stem cells, scientists have to reprogram cells in order for them to act as embryonic ones. But as opposed to the new embryonic cells, adult stem cells are very limited in what they can do. Could you imagine what we could create with embryonic stem cells as they are original? With adult stem cells, we can create tissues and organs, but with embryonic cells, we can improve its quality, quantity, and try to make transplant-ready organs. But it wouldn't need to be reprogrammed. With embryonic stem cell research, there are new outcomes and possibilities that are simply not present with adult stem cells. However, there are questions when conducting this kind of research. Is embryonic sacrifice for experimentation okay? Is it moral? Is it unethical? Is it allowed? The controversy on this subject is complex, to say the least. Should we as a society allow science to move forward with testing or shut the whole thing down and never look back? When trying to decide on something at this degree, we must consider three things: ethics, law, and medicine. Ethically, is it right? Is it morally okay to terminate an embryo to benefit us in the long run when it gets no choice in the matter? Legally, are we allowed to conduct this research, and if so, should we stop it? And medically, what would we be able to accomplish? There are a multitude of reasons why people are against embryonic stem cell research. The common factor against this research is religion. As the Catholic Church is opposed to embryonic stem cell research, most of its followers tend to agree with them. They do, however, accept adult stem cell research. This is because adults are willingly giving their stem cells to science in this specific scientific field. And in order to extract stem cells from an embryo, the fertilized egg is frozen and unfrozen. Two things happen in this process. It is either destroyed in the process of being defrosted or in the extraction of the stem cell. The church considers an embryo as a life, so it does not support the destruction of it. Whereas embryos have no choice in the matter, adults do willingly give their extraction. And they can survive the extraction of the stem cells, whereas it will kill the embryo. Legally, former President Barack Obama has allowed federal funding for the cause, but with a catch. The funding will only be provided if the result affected the nation beneficially. Otherwise, no funding would be granted. The ethics law was put in place in order to command respect for the specimens used in these experiments. Medically, this research is a gold mine. Scientists are at such a high caliber that you can give them cells and they can create an organ or tissues. And white blood cells are the cells in our body that fight infection, disease, and unwanted bacteria. Stem cells can be reprogrammed to create new red blood cells and white blood cells. This can be useful in multiple cases. For example, acute myeloid leukemia is a blood and bone marrow cancer that affects 200,000 Americans a year. This cancer infects its host by giving it excess immature white blood cells. Since these cells have not matured, they cannot fight the way they are designed to. With chemotherapy, stem cell transplants, and recovery, it is possible to come back from this cancer. Obviously, stem cell research can be very beneficial medically. 114,000 out of 7 million Americans are on the transplant list. If stem cell research were more accessible, more organs could be grown and given to those in need of treatment and body parts. And I have no doubt in my mind that we will be able to live with the benefits of stem cell research, but it is the consequences that I fear we will not be able to bear. We could be just fine getting a brand new heart. It sounds great. But buying an organ for a few $1,000s whenever one of us went to heart failure is not the way to go. No more transplant list, no more waiting, no more worrying, but at what cost? According to the American College of Pediatricians, the predominance of human biological research confirms that human life begins at conception, which is fertilization. So many people question when life starts. Is it when we see a hand in the ultrasound? Is it when the fetus has eyes? Or is it when it's born? But scientifically, it is fertilization. This is a difficult subject to discuss, but there must be a solution. We have to decide what to do and how we will move forward with this. Stem cell researcher and Nobel Prize winner Shinya Yamanaka has proposed iPS cells as an alternative to the use of embryonic stem cells. The scientist claims that when activated, skin cells from mice could be reprogrammed to immature stem cells, which in turn can grow into different types of cells in the body, meaning that these iPS cells could function similarly to embryonic cells. There are always different ways to approach an issue, and it is your perception that defines whether you will find a solution to it or just agree to disagree. Thank you.